Hello everyone, hello! Sucks right here with some more Final Fantasy XIV. As you can see, yes, we are still on the moon, but we are going to be leaving here shortly, but we will do a quick recap of what happened. So, last stream we arrived on the moon, we went to this tower here and we met someone called the Watcher, who is right there. That's the Watcher. He told us that his whole deal was watching over Zodiark's prison. We went around and talked to some of the shades, and we met up with Hythlodaeus again. Even though this version of Hythlodaeus hadn't actually met us, he still recognized us, just like the Shade in Amaran, which was interesting. Anyway, while we were talking to him, the last of the seals came under attack. So we go to find out who it is, and we know it's going to be Xenos and Fandaniel. Fandaniel betrays Xenos and forces himself to merge with Zodiark, because if you recall, Elidibus was Zodiark's heart, and when he separated from Zodiark, Zodiark lost all his will, all his reason. He was just basically acting on instinct at that point. So Fandaniel kind of took over that spot that Elidibus had. We fought Zodiark and we killed Zodiark, but Fandaniel laughed in the end and said that's okay. He wanted to die this whole time. His whole plan was to get us to kill Zodiark because that would enact the final days. Well, right after we killed Zodiark, the screen goes gray, all gray screen, and you just hear this woman say, "Ah, yes, there you are," and then you and then nothing. The Watcher there bid us to go meet with the Loperates up in Bestaway's Burrow, which had Final Fantasy IV town music, and there was enemies in there, and when you fight them, they had FF4 battle music. It was sick. And we spent the rest of the stream dealing with the Loperates. These are the Loperates right here. Living Way, Pudding Way, Singing Way, Mapping Way. There's a lot more of them, but these are like the main ones. And now we are heading back to and we're heading back to Etheirys, which we found out the name of our planet is not Eorzea, it is not Hydaelyn, it is Etheirys. Or at least that's what it was when it was complete. So, yes, there you guys go. So the first thing we're going to do before we talk to Urianger is look at my weird outfit that reminds me of Xeno's Guardians from Dragon Ball Z. And change our minion. Today we get dress up Raban. Okay. You know what's the creepiest thing about this? Is somebody made it after he had his arm cut off. Why did someone cross a Lalafell and a Viera? It was a relief to see Living Way was pleased with my gift of ink. To serve and serve well, though their knowledge may be lacking, their boundless love is a blessing without peer. It will be no easy task to prepare them for what must needs be done, but gladly do I embrace this duty, even if it doth necessitate that we part ways for a time. Forgive me my absence, and I have the utmost faith in you, in all our fellow scions. When next I return to Etheirys, I pray I find you all in good health and good spirits. Okay, so Jeremy says, why did someone cross a Lalafell and a Viera? So I can see why you would think that, and it's a fair comparison because haha, Lalafells and Viera. But actually, like in actual Final Fantasy like lore, not FF14 specifically, Loperates are a lot older than both Viera and Lalafell. They pre-exist even to Taru in FF11. Alright, Shola. Returning home. Does dressing up Raban come with an attachable arm? I don't think so. The Lalafell and Viera the offspring of those? I guess. With the Loperates in Urianger's capable hands, we needn't worry about the affairs here in our absence. Knowing now the face of their earthly collaborators, there is much to discuss with Alphino and the others. Let us return to the Tower of Babel. Our battle for the star will soon begin in earnest, and we must be prepared. So, oh, that's another thing. We found out these Loporrits here had been receiving information from the Charlian Forum for an unspecified amount of time. But they only say fairly recently. Secret Thancred at the Nether Gate. Oh, wait, hang on. For 6 minutes. They just reached out before you got there. Someone just messaged me, going home. Anyway. Gods! I can scarcely believe we went to the moon and back. But we'll have time to reflect on that later. Right now, we need to head back to Camp Broken Glass and deliver a thoroughly detailed report to Lucia. I'd like very much to know how everyone is getting on here as well. They'd only just begun to treat the tempered prisoners when we left. I share your curiosity, but warning our allies of the final days of greater importance. I speak not only of the contingent, of course. Let's head the heads of every state must the heads of state of every nation must know what we have learned. We know not when or where or in what manner the final days will begin to manifest, and so we must see that everyone is prepared. Agreed. Though we may not wish to stress the importance of discretion, lest the public be sent into a panic. Not that anyone in a position of responsibility should need to be told as much, but it bears repeating. Anyway, first things first, to Camp Broken Glass. I'm gonna go ask the Starlians for help, and they'll be like, nah, dog, we're too busy. Something more important than the end times. And you'll find out later they were inventing toasters. Well, I will say that we're gonna find out more about the actual end of days now. Or the final days. How am I walking? Let me just teleport over here. Hi, Mini Cat. Hello. Oh, okay, we got a Mini Cat here. Hi. She's not staying. She's just showing me her bottle. Thanks. I guess. Super rude, but here we are. Hello, Mini Cat. Oh. Hi, wanna lay with me? Perfect. She is gonna lay with me. Hello, you haven't laid with me in a little while. It's good to see you again. No worse for your lunar adventure, I'd hope. We've done what we can for now, and believe me, we intend to tell you all about it. But before we do, might you tell us what's become of the Garlemald in our absence? We succeeded in subduing the Tempered inside the Tower of Babel. We took many alive, but combining with those who were already in our custody, the number requiring care has grown exponentially. The inclement conditions here have made it difficult, if not impossible, to treat them all here, and so we petitioned the aid of the allied nations. Some are understandably hesitant to proffer assistance, particularly those that were but recently subject to Imperial occupation. That said, several others have agreed to grant them refuge for treatment. With the assistance of your fellow scions, we endeavor to see them safely transported to subsequently cured of their tempering. There you go, Mini Cat. Will all the tempered be relocated? Not all, no. We have sufficient shelter to attend to those whose treatment has begun, and enough healers have volunteered to remain until their patients have recovered. Euless is one such patient, though he is not yet fit to receive visitors. Truth be told, it was a miracle he and those in his company were not harmed in the chaos. If not for Alphinaud and Alice's timely assistance, I dare say none of them would be with us today. In light of the recent developments, have the Alliance leaders come to any decision regarding Garlemald? Given the tremendous ramifications of what has happened here, it will take time to determine what must be done in the meantime. They intend to work with the Eastern Alliance to keep a close watch over the provinces. We have other news to share. Shortly after Anima was defeated, we received reports that each and every tower has vanished. For a mercy, the process was apparently not quite as violent as that used to experience in Davnir. Those who were trapped within them have been rescued and are receiving treatment. To hasten this endeavor, the Beast Tribes have received instructions in the magics needed to cure tempering. Master Matoya is no doubt thrilled, and the Mother Porxia affords her so many visitors. Yes, we are grateful for her ongoing efforts, as well as those of our comrades near and far. As for the contingent, several of our members have been granted to leave to return to their homelands after the transfer of the Temperate has been completed. Lucy and I will remain, along with a small force to continue offering aid to those here in Garlemald. The Empire may be no more, but there are yet those who call these lands home. I believe that accounts for the recent events here. So, what of the moon and the Telophoroi? The final days. Gods, I prayed your victory would mark the end of our troubles. There's still much we do not know, but the Alliance leaders must be told. Would you be willing to contact them in our stead? Yes, of course. I will send word forthwith. We'll also release your fellow Silence from their present duties, that they may return to Sharlayan. Your energies are better spent finding a means to avert the coming apocalypse. Speaking of your fellow Scions, you will be happy to hear that Mistress Kyle, though still on the mend, has been moved to the Baldessian Annex and given into Tataru's care. Thank you. I look forward to seeing them both upon our return. Let us be on our way then. One last thing, if I may. After your confrontation with Zodiarch, you said Xenos took his leave, and in all likelihood he has returned here to Garlemald. I have a mind to dispatch scouts to try and ascertain his whereabouts, but first wish to ask if you believe there is merit in doing so. If they found him, they would not likely live to tell the tale. If you're expecting a trail of destruction to follow, you won't find one. Aye. You are the only foe he considers worthy. And even if my men found him, who but you could even hope to bring low that monster? Pray, forget I entertained the notion. While on the subject of Xenos, the 10th Legion has made an official proclamation. They denounced the Crown Prince and condemned his role in the Empire's downfall. His very title has become a source of shame among his former subjects, and its continued use only serves to hinder the relations with foreign nations. For this reason, he has been declared as Xenos Viator Galvus, outcast and enemy of Garlemald. And Daniel is no more, and now his own people turn against him. It seems he's not but his bloodlust to keep him company. Better that than an army to see it sated. At any rate, I will not keep you any longer. I pray you safe passage back to Sharlayan. I want to point out that not one of those people expressed the requisite amount of surprise that we killed Zodiarch. It was like, oh yeah, you killed him. Okay, cool. They do not have the requisite amount of surprise. It's because it's you. You could have gone there like, yeah, we knew you would. It's like those parents, right? You grow up and you're like an A student, you get an A, and your kids, and they're like, Yeah, okay, cool, you got another A, excellent, good job. And then your fucking sister brings home a D and they're like, oh shit, take her out for dinner, let's celebrate. Welcome back, Nero. We were so terribly worried about you. Though it is plain I have caused my own fair share of worry, and for that I apologize. Heidelin called to me that day when you entered the Tower of Babel. Her pleas were faint but desperate, and I knew at once she required a vessel to carry out her will. What came after feels like a dream, but barely remembered. My body flowing through the life stream toward Garlemald. When I regained consciousness, I was all aches and frostbite, exhausted of ether. So exhausted, in fact, I could only laugh. But it was in that moment I understood Ra's wariness from the Tower of Zot. Would that I could laugh at a time like this, though. We prevented Zodiac from being unleashed upon the world. We? I am curious to know what else took place there on the moon. Perhaps we should wait for the others to join us before you give your account. Let us reconvene in the main hall once they arrive. They like to use the term we. There's yet to be a single thing that you've set out to kill that you didn't kill. It'd be more surprising if Zodiac just killed you at this point. Right, but Zodiac is like the god of gods. At least the god of primals in many ways. You figure there'd be at least a little bit of surprise. And now you are God. Sorry to have kept you all waiting. Not at all. We understand you've been quite busy. Will Urianger be joining us? Duty keeps him away, I'm afraid, though Miro can explain why better than I. I can? He on the moon. He dealing with Loporits. The fucker Loporits? Well, if you think of a Etheirys and a Lalafell fucking, it's what you get. He's staying up there. The final days, as befell Amarat. And we are to escape via the moon? What of the source and its reflections? I've no intention of standing by while the world falls to ruin. So, how do we stop this? Unfortunately, we have no answers at present. If the celestial currents have grown stagnant, as was the case in the time of Amarat, the solution would have been to alter the flow of ether throughout the entirety of the star. The ancients accomplished this by summoning Zodiark, sacrificing half the star's population in the doing. But it should go without saying that such a sacrifice cannot be repeated. Which leaves us with the daunting task of identifying the underlying catalyst for the final days, a feat which the Amaratians could not accomplish. Unfortunately, we found no clues in Mare Lamentorium. There is still much we do not know about the catastrophe itself, let alone what may have caused it. The final days were marked by the corruption of the Amaratians' creation magics, but we command no such power, which invites the question, what havoc is in store for us? If we knew that much, perhaps we could draw some parallel with the events of the past, and thereby form some semblance of a plan. Perhaps we could start with the Forum, then. Having worked with the Loporits in secret all this time, there's surely more they can tell us. Forgive the interruption, but I've urgent news. The Forum is holding a public assembly in the plaza outside, some sort of announcement. What is Father up to now? There's only one way to find out. Yeah, Kryl kind of gets a new outfit later, but they did kind of neglect to give her one here. Though that hood is given to her by her grandpa, so... Why is the evil music playing?
Order! Order, I say! I thank you all for gathering here on such short notice. This day we must speak of grave affairs and their implications for the future of Sharlayan, nay, of this very star. Said affairs concern all citizens, and so we have called for a public assembly. You may have heard rumors of the Talopheroi and the havoc these madmen wreak abroad. Under normal circumstances, we would pay little heed to petty disturbances outside our borders. The final days, however, are another matter altogether. For we dare not ignore these prophetic words of Eld. The Endbearers will come, ushering chaos and calamity. The final days descend and devour the very star.
I've never heard this prophecy.
Is it true? Will all that really happen?
Calm yourselves. The time has come to speak of the Forum's most sacred duties. But first...
Give voice to the voiceless. Let bindings be unbound. By unanimous decree, I declare the enchantment broken.
Master Leveilleur, if you would.
Very well. "270 years ago, our forebears began an expedition in the Dravanian hinterlands, in search of a route to access the Ethereal Sea. This much is public knowledge. Their findings, however, would become the Forum's most closely guarded secret. What those researchers discovered in the hinterlands was not a passage unto the Ethereal Sea, but the very heart of our star, and Hydaelyn herself. She spoke to them of a calamity that would extinguish all life, and of a means by which we might be spared. The moon. 'Tis in truth a gargantuan vessel built to serve as sanctuary for her children and deliver them from this doom. Much like Nunkref's hope in ages past, it will bear the people of a world in the throes of death to a new home.
Needless to say, this will be no small undertaking. To facilitate the great work, the Forum has maintained close contact with the servants of Hydaelyn, who presently reside on the moon. Convinced that the foretold end was all but inevitable, we began amassing a wealth of knowledge, not merely for the betterment of our nation, but in preparation for the journey to come.
You reveal this to us now? By the gods, how long do we have?
While we cannot say with certainty, we believe the hour to be nigh. We received a transmission from the moon suggesting as much not long ago. Which is why we must in earnest begin preparations for the great exodus. For his impressive contributions and the leadership he demonstrated during our withdrawal from Dravania, we have elected Master Leveilleur to oversee this initiative.
Fellow scribes and scholars, my countrymen, we face a threat of unprecedented scale. We must challenge the trials before us with composure and conviction if we are to find salvation. The wisdom of Sharlayan has ever been a shining beacon in the darkness, and so it shall continue to be. It is our solemn charge to see our heritage preserved for future generations. For those who will come after, we will brave a new frontier.
Administrative edicts will be relayed to all major institutions ere long. In the meantime, carry on with your duties. With that, I hereby call this assembly to a close.
Do you remember what Mother told us when we visited home? That it wasn't until after we were born that Father seemed to lose himself in his work. If that great work of his was the evacuation of this star, then...
Yes. It wasn't for his benefit. Would you mind waiting here a moment? I wish to speak with Father before we leave.
Keep it civil, eh?
I may look daggers at him, but I will neither speak nor draw them.
If it's all the same to you, I have a few choice words to share with Father as well.
So, come to call us cowards and bid us join your fruitless battle against the inevitable.
Nay, we do not object to the Forum's proposal. On the contrary, those who wish to flee have every right to do so. Urianger is cooperating with your associates on the moon to ensure that all is ready should evacuation be our only recourse.
Then whatever your business, I suggest you be brief.
Though we cannot boast the boundless wisdom of Sharlayan, we have first-hand knowledge of foreign cultures and have conversed with no small number of peoples. These experiences have taught us fundamental truths that cannot be recorded in any tome nor charted on any map. The beating heart of this planet is its people, many of whom would give anything, even their lives, to protect the lands they love. Many may choose to join you in the end. But what of those unwilling or unable, for whom escape will never be an option? What would you have them do? To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, Father. It is indolence. This is why we choose to fight.
We'll not ask for your understanding, Father. Only that you don't turn a blind eye to the good we have done. That we can still do. We're not children in need of protection. Hold fast to your principles and let the world burn if it please. But we believe there is still another way. And if there is, we will find it. You see if we don't.
Do as you will. Just stay out of our way.
Were he not so consumed with self-righteousness, he might tell you how proud he is of you both.
Bold words call for bold action, and there'll be no turning to your father should plans go awry.
As if I ever would. So long as there are those who wish to stay and fight for this star, we have to do what we can to help them.
And if we're to do that, we'll need to be well rested. Wouldn't you agree? And having triumphed over what we once thought to be the source of all evil, I can think of no one in greater need of at least a dozen winks.
Shall we then? To the Annex, to prepare for tomorrow.
To the Annex. To prepare for tomorrow. Where the fuck did they leave me? Alright, I know where I am. We're gonna run over to the Annex, but we're going to take a quick break and then we will continue. But now we know what their big undertaking was. Their plan is creating a means and collecting everything on the planet, seeds, animals, whatnot, to run the fuck away from whatever the final days is. They've spent 270 years getting ready to run the fuck away. Alright. Give me a sec, guys. We're gonna go on break. We'll be right back.